with the I Love Seaville show. It's good to be talking to you today. I hope you're all doing well. Got some interesting stuff going on in Charlottesville right now. There is a doctor, a cancer rehabilitation doctor, who was recently crowned Miss Charlottesville USA. She is going on to compete for the title of Miss Virginia USA. I think this is awesome. I think they've, from what I've heard, they've expanded the age range, and I'm sure a lot of us remember videos of beautiful young women being asked questions and coming up with some fairly interesting answers.
The competition is fierce now.
And I don't think that Miss Charlottesville is going to have trouble coming up with lucid answers. Being a doctor and
specializes in curing cancer.
Yeah.
Baller.
Yeah, I think that's pretty bad.
Shot caller.
Mm-hmm.
Big time baller.
Yeah.
Lot to cover on the program. The great Giardini will be here today. Sidekick Bubini will be here today. Sidekick Bubini has new attire that he's going to be wearing. So does the great Giardini. Get ready for Bubini and Giardini in about 20 minutes on the program. Johnny Ornales, ¿qué pasa, chico? Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás? The owner of Guadalajara, co-owner of El Mariachi. We love you. Johnny Ornales. We love you. Give the show a like and a share anywhere you are watching. I had a conversation with a business owner. Was it 2 days ago? You heard me on the phone. He's a restaurant owner downtown Charlottesville. We're not going to blow up his spot and say who he is, but Judah, you know who he is. Done some work for him in the past. A restaurant owner in downtown Charlottesville, and he relayed the story to us about what it took to get light bulbs changed on public streets and downtown Charlottesville.
Oh, yeah.
3 city departments to change light bulbs.
Yeah.
Each one unsure who is responsible for the light bulb changing. I want to ask you, the viewer and listener, what tax is the most regressive of all Charlottesville taxes? Everyone is quick to jump on the real estate tax, but do you think that truly is the most regressive, Judah? We'll have that conversation today on the I Love Seaville show. Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the New York Jets. Anti-vax Aaron Rodgers, the same Aaron Rodgers who linked Jimmy Kimmel, the talk show host, to terrible things, is being targeted as the vice president candidate, as a potential candidate for vice president on RFK Jr.'s ticket. Unbelievable. We're going to talk about that today. A lot we're going to cover on the program, including 9 restaurants that serve tiramisu around Charlottesville. I love tiramisu. Do you love tiramisu, Judah?
Of course.
And we got to talk the Ralph Sampson, Dave Matthews famous topic that briefly came up yesterday. I was absolutely shocked with how famous Ralph Sampson was. We'll relay the story again to you leaving the studio. And I think we may have a new, for the Charlottesville area. I'm not talking outside of Charlottesville. I'm talking the Charlottesville area. The most famous person in the Charlottesville area may be Ralph Sampson. Give the show a like and a share. Deep Throat is back, fresh from Bozeman, Montana, and he's offering comments and commentary. John Blair, hello. Ginny Hu, thank you for the retweet. Yes, Deep Throat, the how many Charlottesville public servants does it take to screw in a light bulb joke was had on the phone with this restaurant owner. All right, Judah Wickhauer, we can rock and roll when you're ready.
Quiet on the set.
Quiet on the set. Can't wait to see Bubini's new shirt. Bill McChesney, hello. Sherry Wilcom, hello. We work hard for you. Spread the gospel. Spread the gospel. Am I the man behind the meme accounts? Bubini may ask me that. Good Wednesday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love Seville show. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I cannot believe I'm about to say this. Presidential hopeful Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in very serious discussions, as reported by the New York Times. Serious discussions with Aaron Rodgers to make the New York Jets quarterback his potential running mate on an independent presidential ticket in November. Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback, vice president, potentially on an independence ticket in a presidential race that is turning into, how do we characterize this, Judah? I was going to use the word profanity show, show. I guess I could call it poop show. I mean, it's turning into a zoo. It makes the country look horrible.
As my sister, hold on, let me get on here.
We'll talk about that on today's program and how Charlottesville is going to respond. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old and a four-time NFL MVP, a former Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. He is an ardent supporter of RFK Jr., frequently mentioning RFK Jr. in interviews. The New York Times reported that the domain KennedyRogers.com was registered last week on GoDaddy, Judah. What was your sister going to say?
It's only smart that even if they don't end up going with, even if he doesn't end up going with Aaron Rodgers, it's still smart to get the domain.
Is it smart to welcome Aaron Rodgers as the vice president?
That's not what I said.
No, I know that. They secured the domain. It's so cheap. Why wouldn't you own the domain?
Yeah.
We own significant amounts of domains.
Yeah. Why wait until
someone poaches it from you?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I have no beef with the purchasing of the URL. The beef I have is RFK Jr. asking Aaron Rodgers, potentially a quarterback, to be the vice president. And the look it has.
Did you see who his other top pick is?
Yeah, the former WWE wrestling champion, the former governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he going to jump off the top rope and body slam Biden and Donald Trump, Jesse Ventura? But at least he's been a governor.
I'd pay to see that.
At least he's been a governor. This is turning into reality television before our very eyes. We'll talk about that today. Reed Super Save Market is evidently on much better standing. They got a sizable GoFundMe contribution, Reed's Super Save Market. I think it was to the tune of what, $21,000?
I don't know what the final number was.
No, it's closed now.
I thought they're shooting for 10.
And it surpassed 10. 21,000 is the exact number. More than 21,000. Excuse me, I stand corrected. Now its co-owner, Sue Clements, tells local media, quote, "It'd be really easy to walk away and say, okay, I think it's time, but the community wants us here," end quote. She says, "We want to be here," end quote. And she says that we're back on our feet. Let's celebrate and champion Reed's getting some financial stability, an icon of significant proportions. We'll talk about that on today's program. Also on the show, I want to highlight the most regressive tax of them all. Is it a slam dunk that it's the real estate tax rate is the most regressive one? Is that a slam dunk?
Not necessarily.
I don't think so either. You can make a very convincing argument for the meals tax being the most regressive of all of Charlottesville's increased taxes.
I think that's probably what I would go for, just because it hits people daily, where the property tax, some landlords aren't necessarily going to raise rents based on
the real estate tax rate,
based on their tax increase, and I think a lot of people get their taxes added in via. Added to their mortgage via...
they're still paying for them.
Yeah, I know.
Via increased escrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think that the daily nature of the food tax is something that you see more often, and it affects you.
I think it affects the
daily,
most citizens.
Weekly.
The meals tax.
Definitely.
If the meals tax is increased, it would be raised to 7.5%. Ladies and gentlemen, that means when you go out to eat in the city of Charlottesville, when you combine state and local sales taxes on top of the meals tax, 12.8% of your bill will be taxes when you eat out.
Yeah.
Call it 13% even if they do this. You spend $100, 13 of that is going to go to taxes. I want you to think about that. If you go out, let's just say you go out.
But I think put better, if you spend $100, add 13 to that just in taxes.
If you spend $100, okay, and then 20 on tip. So you're looking at $1.20, and on that $1.20 that you spend, 20 is gratuity, and 13 is taxes. So 33 of your 120. That's over 25%. Think about that. We'll unpack that on today's edition of the I Live CVille show. I also want to chitter-chatter the Ralph Sampson story from yesterday. I'm still blown away by Ralph Sampson walking out of our studio on Market Street and literally, Judah, you saw it. He stopped traffic.
Yeah.
Is that safe to say? Mm-hmm. He stopped traffic on either side of Market Street with cars behind them, people hoot and hollering out of their window to the UVA basketball legend. I am now convinced after seeing that Ralph Sampson is the most famous man in Charlottesville. I'm saying when you're within Charlottesville, Albemarle, or Central Virginia limits, Ralph Sampson will command more notoriety and attention than anyone else. And yes, I'm including Dave Matthews in there. Judah made the point yesterday, Dave is not 7'6". He can wear a hat and some sunglasses and be relatively incognito. Ralph Sampson, significantly incognito. Easily incognito. Okay. Sampson at 7'6" cannot.
Yeah.
A lot we're going to unpack on today's program, including the great Giardini with sidekick Bubini, who fully embraces his moniker and absolutely loves his moniker. I mean, look at Bubini's face over there. We're in the shadows, of course, of Thomas Jefferson University, less than 2 miles from the University of Virginia, less than 2 miles from the Rotunda, less than 2 miles from the John Paul Jones Arena and Scott Stadium, a hop, skip, and a jump from the Charlottesville Police Department, a block removed from the Albemarle County Courthouse, the Charlottesville Courthouse, and right off the downtown mall, our studio on Market Street. Judah, we had a conversation with a friend of the program. This friend is a regular listener of our talk show, a man we admire who's had success in the restaurant space, in the restaurant industry. He does things the right way. He takes care of his team members. He serves food at multiple restaurants at reasonable price points. He's got 2 distinct restaurants that he owns. One sit down, one fast casual. I have a conversation with him on the phone 2 days ago, and this particular conversation, Judah, surrounded what it took for this small business owner to get city employees to change light bulbs in downtown Charlottesville.
Yeah.
The restaurant, he owns 2 of them. One of the restaurants he owns that he has owned the longest is right off the downtown mall. And one of the side streets that leads to his restaurant had a number of lights on the side street that had burned out, completely burned out. So as any small business owner who is looking for success and longevity for their pride and joy, their business, they're like, look, I got to get these lights on, right? For safety reasons, we want these side streets lit.
Yeah.
So this particular friend of the program, this particular businessman, goes into City Hall. And he goes into City Hall right off of Main Street. And he goes, look, the lights are off on this side street. We need to get these light bulbs changed. And as he walks into City Hall and he asks for help, he relays this story to me and he says, getting the light bulbs changed, you would be shocked of what it took. I had to go to 3 different departments and neither department was aware of who actually changes the light bulbs in the city of Charlottesville. He went from economic development to Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec broken up into 2 different groups. 3 different departments he spoke to before he was finally able to get the lights changed. And I relay this to you because I want to convey this. Are we living in a city that is so focused on the big picture or so focused on macro challenges that it cannot solve the most common and everyday micro difficulties? The type of challenges that must be resolved for a city to just operate efficiently. You want to keep downtown safe? Have lights on the streets. If you want to drive business and incremental tax revenue to downtown Charlottesville, make sure the perception and appearance is safe. And one of the easiest ways to doing that is to take dead light bulbs and replace them. And this particular restaurateur had to go to 3 departments, each time the department telling them to go somewhere else, before he was finally able to get results and have lights changed on a side street right around the corner from an eatery that's he's owned for, 14, 15, 16 years, a very long time. You and I had a conversation about this. I want you to relay some of the thoughts you had to the viewers and listeners about what we chatted about.
I mean, it's kind of emblematic of government today. That's, like you said, very much more worried about I don't know what to call it. Things like how much money to give to nonprofits, which is great that when we can support them, but if that's at the expense of the running of the city, big ideas are great, but they need to be built on smaller ideas, and smaller ideas need to be built on being able to change the light bulbs, right? What do they say? Don't run before you can walk. Obviously, our city's been running for a long time, but in this case, let's perfect the smaller systems so that everything runs smoothly, and then worry about expanding that into bigger systems.
Deep Throat, number 1 in the family, his photo on screen makes a joke. How many CVO public servants does it take to screw in a light bulb? I don't know, but I called the city to find out, and the department that answers questions is still working from home and too busy negotiating a collective bargaining contract to actually answer the question.
There you go.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
We are so focused on the big picture, and that picture is clouded and convoluted with challenges that perhaps can never truly be solved. Whether that's housing affordability, whether that's collective bargaining, whether that's equitable perspectives, whether that's how we make the city, more cost efficient? How do we keep a budget in check? That we're not even thinking of changing light bulbs.
Yeah.
That's a microcosm of so much. And for a small business owner who employs, 3 dozen, 4 dozen, 5 dozen people across 2 restaurants in the city, to say he had to go to 3 different departments in City Hall, each department telling him to go to a different one to get basic light bulbs changed on a side street in the mall, that's a microcosm of so much. We need to focus on the basics to be able to successfully navigate the more complicated endeavors.
Yeah.
When you're teaching a kindergartner, you work on learning your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s before you go to your multiplication tables and writing sentences. How are we going to be able to fund nonprofits, navigate collective bargaining, housing affordability, crime, if we can't keep light bulbs changed or know who's going to change the light bulbs? And that's something that's important to relay to you. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. We'll relay them live on air. Kevin Yancey, thank you for watching the program. We'll get to some of your comments. Carol Thorpe, we appreciate you watching the program. Ray Cadell's watching the show. Juan Sarmiento, watching the program. I think he's back from his cruise. I'll get to your comments here in a matter of moments. In fact, Juan Sarmiento says he changes the light bulbs in the fleet of vehicles that Charlottesville owns and manages and runs, not the street. Ray Cadell watching the program. Is Ray Cadell a member of the power ranking?
Don't believe he is.
Oh my goodness gracious, Ray Cadell's got to have his photo on there. Ray Cadell's going to come in on the iloveseville.com/viewer rankings at number 47. Ray Cadell, the horn player and the talented real estate agent, he says this: so I'm on my way home from the homestead, which is my biggest client. We always discuss how do you enhance what we call the homestead experience. And he says maybe someone needs to be talking about the Charlottesville experience and how we enhance it. Yeah. Georgia Gilmer watching the program. She is a key member of the family. Let's get Georgia's photo on screen. Georgia is, what is your ranking, Georgia? iloveseville.com/viewer rankings. She is 12 in the family. She says nonprofits should be funded by private donors and not by government agencies and taxpayer money. We talked about that earlier in the week, how nonprofits, many of them in the Charlottesville ecosystem, are seeing their funding requests increase by more than 100% at a time when the city is going to raise taxes across the board.
Yeah, and I believe I remember seeing someone ask an appropriate question, as basically asking, what is the criteria by which the city gives money to nonprofits, and
should that criteria be
and do they have
tighten?
And do the nonprofits have? Is there a POP? Is there a proof of performance? Is there any kind of, like, what is the standard that they're held up to when they're given money? Is there do they have to meet some goal? Do they just get money? And because I'll start a nonprofit and apply for some money if that's the case. If all you got to do is say you're doing good things.
What's your nonprofit going to be?
I'd just come up with a cool name
and ask City Council for money?
Yeah.
John Blair watching the program, number 2 in the family. Let's get his photo on screen. He says, Jerry, I think the phrase that you and Judah may be looking for is state capacity. State capacity refers to the ability for a government to actually do something on an operational level. Replacing state capacity with esoteric ideological aims is what causes distrust and disenchantment with government. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you hear that one?
Mm-hmm. That's great.
That is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He also offers this commentary, John Blair. I don't know that anyone would dispute that the sales tax on groceries is the most regressive tax. Everyone has to purchase food, and the grocery tax is going to be paid even by the bottom 10%. That is why Youngkin's campaign pledge to end the grocery tax, state, not local, was the most progressive policy proposal in the 2021 governor's election. Another strong comment.
Yeah.
Do we go with the grocery tax as the most regressive, as you're putting lower thirds on screen?
I think so.
You say grocery, slam dunk, over tax rate, real estate, property tax, meals tax, lodging tax. I'll say the least regressive of all is the lodging tax. Agree or disagree on that one?
I would agree.
Because you're taxing outsiders. Now, if you raise the lodging tax too much, it could prevent outsiders from coming because it becomes too expensive, but I don't think we're anywhere near there yet.
Right. And the other thing is, how do outsiders look into that? I mean, is that Is that something? And how often do people, when deciding to visit a city, how often do people look into the lodging tax?
I don't think
I don't know. Maybe we'll go to another city.
Yeah, I don't think that happens. For example, I'm not going to be here on Friday. I'm taking a long weekend. I'm going to be in Folly Beach, South Carolina, for some festivities. Friday, Saturday, coming back Sunday, back in the saddle here in the studio on Monday. Looking forward to some R&R and some recharging.
Mm-hmm.
Not once that we'd be like, oh, this tax is too high.
Right.
We're like, we want to go to this place. Let's make it happen.
Generally, I think it's high enough that the cost of, say, getting a hotel or an Airbnb for a weekend or a week is high enough that I think people are less considerate of what taxes they're paying. Whereas going to the grocery store, you see it every day, and it's a lot easier to notice changes from one week to the next.
Okay, we'll say it's between grocery and meals tax. Michael Payne in the Seaville Weekly today said the meals tax, in his opinion, is the most regressive, the city councilor. Michael Payne highlights the meals tax.
Yeah.
He says he's hesitant to raise the meals tax, and, quote, Michael Payne said, quote, I personally think the meals tax should be the last tax we seek to raise. It's our most regressive tax. After raising it again, we'd be near the top of the state for our meals tax rate. Mm-hmm. He says local restaurants operate on small margins, and unlike with our real estate tax, there is no tax relief program for the meals tax. Get this. If the meals tax is raised, which that's the chatter, it'll be the third time the city has raised its meals tax in the last 5 years. It's currently 7.5%. Yeah. They're seeking to raise it to 7.5% from 6.5. Excuse me, it's now 6.5%. Yeah. They're talking about raising it to 7.5%. That means if it's raised, the state and local sales tax and the meals tax would be at 12.8%.
Yeah.
You spend $100, 13 of it's going to be taxes.
12.
12.8. That's 13. It's closer to 12 than 13.
If you're adding the tax to make the 100.
No. If you get a bill that's $100,
right.
13 of that is taxes.
It would be closer to 12, though.
12.8.
If you spent 100, then you would have to add the 12.8 to that.
No, I'm saying 100 total spent.
Yeah, I know. But that would be what? Like, I mean, there's no...
It doesn't matter.
I know.
Yeah, you're doing that thing. But it's high enough, right?
Yeah.
Interesting that Payne highlights that as opposed to the real estate tax rate. Do we want to say why?
Go ahead.
Do you want to say why? I know you know what I'm saying.
I'm not sure.
Councilor Payne is not a homeowner.
Oh, yeah.
That should be highlighted.
Fair enough.
Is that fair to highlight?
Yeah. It obviously hits him less than it would other people, but I don't think that invalidates his statements.
I don't think it invalidates it, but it's something that should be highlighted. Albert Graves retweets the show. We appreciate you, Albert Graves. We really do appreciate you, Albert Graves. Warrior AG. I speak about this before I go on to the next topic about the gentrification of the dining experience. You take your kids out to restaurants to help socialize them. If we make it preventative or cost preventative to take kids out to restaurants to help them socialize.
Cost prohibitive, yeah.
Cost prohibitive, thank you, Judah. That's going to create a haves and have-nots issue with socialization and maturity. And that should not be underestimated. And frankly speaking, let me go to bat for our restaurant owners again. I often do on this program. raising the meals tax is another reason or another way that we're creating headwinds for small businesses.
Yeah.
They have small business headwinds when it comes to escalating labor costs, cost of goods costs, escalating rent. They have headwinds with how the consumer is now choosing to dine, ordering through third-party apps, and eating their food on their couch in their living room.
They also have to deal with the real estate tax.
The real estate tax passed to them in their leases. I'm working on one of those right now. And now this. Why do we want to crush an industry that has propped Charlottesville up, restaurants?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Anything else you want to add before we go to Reed's? The Reed story is so positive. Reed's got $21,000 as you're changing the lower third. $21,000 in the GoFundMe. And now its co-owner says, we're on stable ground again. The shelves should start getting stocked.
Nice.
I'm happy for Reed's. I'm impressed with the community rallying around them, and I wish nothing but long-term success for this grocer.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do I think long-term this spot's going to be a grocery store? No, I do not. I think the grocery business long-term, it's going to be consolidated by less brands and not more brands.
I think we're going to see a lot of that in a lot of different areas.
Expand.
What's that?
Expand on that.
Oh, well, I mean, we've seen it in, Amazon has taken over a lot of industries. And we've seen Walmarts taking over in towns, and I think that there are, like you said, headwinds for a lot of small businesses, and that makes those areas of commerce ripe for people with deep pockets and a willingness to spend money on, in your hometown.
Being opportunistic, being aggressive,
Yeah.
utilizing economies of scale and access to capital to win battles of competition
Yeah, I mean,
against competitors that may not have the financial resources or the labor resources or the purchasing power of big box brands.
we've talked about the shrinking number of small businesses on the corner. I don't think there were ever very many small businesses in Stonefield, and Barracks has always maintained a few, but
Less and less.
yeah,
Comments are coming in fast here. Vanessa Parkhill, her photo on screen. Key member of the family, the Queen of Earlysville. Miss Parkhill, 6 in the power poll. She says this: the meals tax may be regressive, gentlemen, but people don't need to eat out. I'm sorry it hurts the business, but the average citizen can eat at home.
yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe she points to the grocery tax there.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it's a shame that the meals tax will hurt our small businesses, the restaurants that we love bragging about Charlottesville for so much. But yeah, she's right.
Ray Cadell says, I'm not sure what the current situation is, but I do remember when the municipal band contribution from the city went to zero. The 100-plus-year-old municipal band, by the way, that has always performed exclusively free concerts for our community and free events. Ray Cadell, your photo and name will be on the iloveseville.com/viewer rankings. You've made the program better, my friend, and I am shocked and appalled with me personally that you are not on that viewer and listener power ranking. You should be. Nothing but love for you. Bill McChesney says it's no longer called the Charlottesville Municipal Band. It's simply called the Charlottesville Band. I love when the viewers and listeners make us smarter. If you want to change the lower third here to Ralph or Dave, I want to highlight the story from yesterday that continues to resonate with me. Ralph Sampson was on the Jerry and Jerry show yesterday. He spent over an hour in our studio with yours truly, with Judah, and with Hootie Ratcliffe. He was a gentleman and a scholar. Handshake, knows your name, class act. As he's walking out of our studio on Market Street, his very classy and elegant Mercedes-Benz parked directly outside of our door. He walks out the front door, and the entire world stopped for him. Mm-hmm. Someone driving on Market Street from the grocery store to the police station, that side of the road, the side of the road closest to us, literally slammed on her brakes, pushed her driver door open with such force it slung and flicked back on her before she had to open it again. She swings her left leg and then her right leg out so quickly out of the driver's side door and catapults out of the seat, sprints around the car while her car is still running, while the driver's door is open, and basically jumps in Ralph's arms to greet him as if he was Taylor Swift. On the other side of the road, for the folks driving from the police station to the grocery store, two vehicles stop in the middle of Market Street, roll down their window, and scream like schoolgirls with jubilee, with bliss, and with zest, asking for photos and selfies with Ralph, screaming his name as if he was Taylor Swift. Two lanes of traffic stopped because Ralph Sampson walks out the door.
Yeah.
A bus directly behind one of the drivers who had stopped their vehicle is blaring the horn with the driver shouting out the window, "What are you doing? Come on, come on." And for that 60-second period, traffic had come to a screeching halt in downtown Charlottesville because a 7'6" man walked out of the I Love Seville studios. And at that very moment, I knew that Ralph Sampson was the most famous man in Charlottesville. You can walk by Dave Matthews on the downtown mall and Barracks Road and Mudhouse and CVS. I have many times. And he, whether it's choice, whether it's strategy of being incognito, can come across as nondescript. So much where you could walk by him and not even notice him. You're not going to be able to do that with the 7'6" person.
Yeah.
This man is the clear most famous person in the Charlottesville area, and it's not even close. Some folks are saying Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Do we put him on the list? I said no, because this was just an auxiliary market of living for him, a secondary market. The Orange County farm that he has. I would imagine Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would command the same stopping at Market Street as Ralph did. He also is of notable size, not 7'6", but 6'4", 250, 260, 270. Do you think it's a clear-cut Ralph Sampson?
He's definitely got a firm lead over most other people in terms of what's the word I'm looking for? Visibility.
Man of many words today.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd seen it before, like at games and arenas, and even at his restaurant, but I never had seen it like that in the road.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think I've seen anything like that. I remember when I was in college at UVA, Britney Spears was visiting Charlottesville and was rumored to be at the Biltmore. This was my second or third year, and we all sprinted to the Biltmore on Ellwood Avenue to catch a glimpse of Britney Spears, and she was there. She was swarmed. I remember as a kid, the U.S. gymnastics team, remember the gold medal winner, I think her name was Dominique Moceanu. She was at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, and me and my buddies made sure we went through the turnstiles and headed for the Loch Ness Monster or Big Bad Wolf or Drakenfire or the Battering Ram to see if we could catch a glimpse of Dominique and her gold medal. But what I saw with Ralph yesterday was, it was adults that evolved or devolved into schoolgirl fans and schoolboy fans, screaming his name at the top of their lungs.
Yeah. Some people get crazy.
I'll say it's a clear-cut Ralph. What's the next one on the header?
Let's see. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. I have to talk about this here. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has said that Charlottesville will be, and the great Giardini is moments away here. So don't miss Giardini. Deep Throat, I'll get to your comments in a matter of moments. RFK's headquarters is the old CVO Weekly office on the downtown mall. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
He has made a comment multiple times that Charlottesville and Virginia, a bellwether state, are critically important for his candidacy for president, his chance to win the presidency. He said the University of Virginia, his ties to UVA, I believe it was law school, his ties to UVA. Mm-hmm. He's going to make a push in Charlottesville and Central Virginia and in Virginia in totality to try to get a shot at winning this thing. The New York Times reports yesterday that New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers is on a very short list for vice president on his ticket. I am left mouth agape with this news. We have a reality television star and Donald Trump. We have a man that clearly has limited cognitive abilities and Joe Biden. We have a candidate in RFK who is all over social media doing the bench press at various cities wearing Levi jeans and no shirt, spray tan, shirtless, doing the bench press, speaking to anyone who would listen of how COVID is made up and how vaccines are bad. And now he's saying, Brian Haluska just walks by, freshly haircutted. And now he's saying he's going to consider a quarterback in the National Football League who is active, who has very sketchy commentary, almost banned by ESPN to do interviews for what he said about Jimmy Kimmel. He's considering Aaron Rodgers, who is anti-vax, certainly a womanizer, questionable in his thoughts and perspectives on many fronts, as his vice president. What is the 2024 election going to be? And is every country outside the U.S. just looking at us mouth agape as well, saying, what the hell is going on in the United States?
I think they've been doing that for years. I think at this point it's just they've got the popcorn popped and the cushions freshly fluffed on the couch, and I think they're just sitting back and enjoying the dumpster fire.
If you look at the CVO Weekly office, the headquarters for RFK Jr., he's got a quasi setup for a talk show set there. RFK can utilize the I Love CVille network if he ever needs to.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
In fact, any of the candidates can utilize the I Love CVille network. I think the most realistic one that we could get, though, would be RFK Jr. I cannot wait for the debates. It will be must-watch television.
They're not. Here, I've got a fortune for you.
Well, are we going to save this for Giardini? Is Giardini next?
It might be.
Well, you're the producer. You got the rundown.
I'm going to change screens to see it, though.
No, it is next.
No, it's not next.
What's next?
Tiramisu.
Oh, and tiramisu. We'll jump to Giardini and Bubini next. But what was your question?
They're not going to have any debates this year.
I think they are going to have debates.
You think
They can hear that rocking.
what?
They can hear that rocking in the mic. You think that they're going to allow Biden to debate Trump? That's what you're asking me.
I don't think Trump wants to debate Biden.
I think Trump will absolutely choose to debate Biden. I think Trump lives for moments like that. And he will try to eviscerate Biden. I don't think they'll allow Biden to debate Trump, though. And if they don't allow Biden to debate Trump, that right there is cause for concern. Because if you can't handle a debate,
The RNC has already disavowed the debates.
time will tell. Wouldn't you say Biden would have the edge, or Trump would have the edge over Biden in a debate? And could you see a spray tan RFK Jr. debating?
Oh, RFK would love to. I'd love to hear what he
RFK
has
would
to
do it
say.
in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but as for the other two, I don't think they have anything to say. I think Trump would love to, but I think he's smart enough to not do it because there's no gain. Everybody knows what their platforms are.
No gain?
Everybody knows exactly what they're. It's not like there's anything new coming from either side.
Highlighting or drawing attention to the cognitive concerns of Biden is the gain for Trump.
He doesn't need a debate to do that, though.
Agree to disagree on that one. The State of the Union, Biden. Did you watch? You didn't watch that.
No, I didn't watch it.
It was all over the place.
I believe it.
It was all over the place. Although some gave him props. You need to go to a one shot because Giardini needs to come in. And then after you go to the one shot, tell me when you're on a one shot and keep the viewers and listeners entertained as Giardini comes in. Are you on a one?
All right, I'm on a one. Jerry is going to be changing into his fortune teller outfit. He's getting his props ready right now, moving some things around, and he's got the magic wands out. He's going back to his changing room. I bet you guys didn't know we had a changing room.
We do have a changing room.
That's what I just said. We've got a changing room. Jerry's back there putting on his lipstick, and I think he mentioned something about earrings last week. So we'll see if he's got the full fortune teller regalia going on, or and did you talk about a change of shirt?
Oh, there's a change of shirt.
Okay, I didn't know if you were going to stick.
There's a shawl.
You should get a tank top.
There's a tank top.
You should get a tank top emblazoned with a new, let's say, Charlottesville heavy every week.
Why? How are we going to do that?
I don't know. Could put all your. It's not a new tank top.
No, I didn't say it was a new tank top. I said there would be a shawl. And in fact, it's more of a cape. Do we see the crystal balls for Giardini?
Do we what?
Giardini has got some props here.
All right.
People are stopping on Market Street literally before us here.
I'm putting you on screen.
Put me on screen here. Do we see my dragons, my pets, on screen?
Mostly.
Do they need to come back? Because the dragons must be in the shot.
Yeah, there you go. You need to bring
Is
them
that
back.
better?
Probably another 3 or 4 inches to get them fully in the.
All the way back?
Yeah,
Is that better?
that is better.
For Giardini. Bubini needs to get in set. Wednesdays, the Giardini and Bubini will be in full effect. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlottesville's fortune teller, Giardini, will answer questions posed by you, the viewer and listener, and we have a number of them today. I have now added a shawl, which, frankly speaking, may be my kindergartner's cape from his Halloween costume, to the show. And of course, we have our dragons on the program. I don't know why Bubini did not have his shirt next to him as instructed by Giardini, but oh, okay, let's go, Bubini, because you have your questions that you're going to ask on the fly for me today on the I Love CVille show. What do you think of the additions of the gloves? And of course, the Curtis Shaver tank top is on screen right now. Giardini and Bubini on a Wednesday in the I Love CVille studio will be taking your fortune-telling questions on the program. Bubini, it's time for you to come on air and ask your first question. It's buttoned correctly, yes. You're ready to go. Put your hat on, and let's go on the two-shot. You don't need to go any higher than that.
I don't think I've got the right button.
That's totally fine. It's totally fine, Bubini. In fact, Bubini, we're going to change the setup of this on the program. Your first question for us, Bubini, on the Giardini show, as you go to a two-shot. What is it for you?
Oh, let's see.
My crystal ball is very clear today.
First question. Is Giardini the man behind the meme accounts?
Am I the man behind the meme accounts? Would that not be the greatest trick ever played? If I was the man behind the meme accounts, driving attention.
That would definitely be the greatest trick ever played in the history of tricks.
I will not answer that question.
Okay.
We will keep it up, and we will never tell.
Well,
What is your next question, Bubini?
oh, man. Let's see. Will we ever have a professional wrestler as a president or vice president?
I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson could be president.
You think he could? That doesn't sound like a prediction.
I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will be president of the United States eventually.
Is he eligible?
Why wouldn't he be eligible?
I don't know.
He's very eligible. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is very eligible. You don't have to Google that. If that's what you're doing, I know for a fact he's eligible. What are you saying, that he's not from here?
I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm asked a question.
He's eligible.
Okay.
He's absolutely eligible. The next one you have. Can you drop the lower thirds and the banners here so people can see our dragons?
Drop the lower thirds.
The nameplates? I gotta have the dragons on screen, please.
Okay.
I mean, these are beautiful. I actually raided my son's closet here and stolen his cape, his dragons. These are not actually his magic wands, though.
No.
These are magic wands that were all the ways on set. Bubini, what's another question you have?
Oh.
My crystal ball is still very clear.
Let's see. What's a good question?
People are stopping outside the booth.
Audience. We need questions.
Bubini.
I'm thinking of one. Let's see. Who will be on your shirt next week?
Oh, it's always going to be the Curtis Shaver tank top.
Always?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always going to be the Curtis Shaver tank top. You need to come better prepared with questions.
I guess.
You knew this was the segment for 2 days.
And I still don't know.
Literally 2 days, you knew this was the segment. You remembered the shirt, but not the questions. Will the city of Charlottesville raise the taxes across the board? There's not a doubt in my mind they will. Every single tax is going to go up. Will Albemarle County raise taxes across the board? That is to be determined, but they seem to be operating in more fiscally conservative mindsets than councilors in the city.
Will Miss Charlottesville become Miss Virginia?
Will Miss Charlottesville become Miss Virginia? If she can cure cancer, she deserves to be Miss Virginia. I mean, think about how difficult it is to be Miss Virginia. You have competition that is a doctor that is in the cancer curing business. She's beautiful. She's well spoken. She should come on the I Love CVille show.
Definitely.
They've upped the age limit. What's the next one you have over there, Bubini?
Oh.
This question's come in. They like the Fox's fornicating shirt more on Bubini. I like that one better. What else you got over there?
Will UVA do anything about the racism and anti-Semitism going on grounds?
President Jim Ryan operates in a lot of ways as if he was a politician and not an actual school president. And is that what it's like being a school president in 2024? That you are a politician? Because if you were a president and you were operating in a mindset of what was best for the school as opposed to what's best for a career, personal career, you would utilize your platform and say, enough with the anti-Semitic behavior on grounds. Enough with the racism.
Yeah.
Okay? And the anger and the hate that's being thrown around that's anti-Semitic rooted is distasteful, it's pitiful, and it needs to change. I'm shocked that Ryan hasn't taken more of a deliberate stand on this.
What's more, it's hypocritical.
Explain, Bubini.
Well, we've been discussing DEI. We've been discussing problems with
Talk to me, Bubini.
with Ziana Bryant.
Yes, we all know. Keep going.
Acting out against a white woman.
Keep going, Bubini.
And the fact of the matter is that here we have probably one of the clearest instances, not just instances, but multiple instances, like days and weeks of racism, of
Teachers,
of personal attacks on
professors themselves
on
doing
Jewish
it.
students.
Professors themselves going out in support of Hamas.
Yeah.
Professors at UVA.
And we don't even have to talk about whether or not someone is supporting Hamas. Stick to the facts about what's going on with Jewish students at UVA. I mean, some of them are afraid to wear their yarmulkes. Some of them are moving off grounds because they are afraid. How is this happening in 2024?
Amen, brother.
That we have a human being of any color, race, or religion in one of the largest schools in the United States, and there's nothing being done about the racism being shown to them.
There it is.
I mean, it's disgusting. I don't care what you think about a particular racial group. You don't get to choose that they're undeserving of the protections that everyone else has.
And is this group less deserving of protection? Absolutely not.
Even if they were, that's what is DEI if it only includes the people that you want it to include?
There it is.
That's, like I said, let's go back to the fact that it's just straight up hypocrisy.
There it is. Oh, man. These gloves will make it tough. We'll close with tiramisu before we get out of here. And Bubini will have questions scripted for next week. It's every Wednesday.
Or maybe
Every
you can script me
Wednesday.
some questions.
I'm going to script you questions to ask myself.
Yeah.
Do you realize what that sounds? I am going to script the questions for you to ask me.
All right. You want me to come up with questions, I'll come up with questions. You might not like them all.
The headlines are mostly mine.
Yeah.
You can do the questions
So is the show.
once a week on Wednesdays for the great Giardini. You did a tiramisu. I want to highlight your favorite aspect of that list.
My favorite aspect of that list, I would have to say, is
I have a feeling you're going to go with the Fabio's one, isn't it?
it's the best picture. How could I not go for? The
You
best
have it on
picture
screen?
there?
The
Not
Fabio's
yet.
tiramisu is fantastic. I will say that. The Fabio's tiramisu is fantastic.
There it is.
And the owners of Fabio's are friends of the program and fantastic individuals. I'll give you the Fabio's tiramisu is absolutely dynamite. There goes Brian Haluska again. Tiramisu options on iloveseville.com. What's the link? iloveseville.com/
I believe it's Seville Tiramisu.
Seville Tiramisu. Courtesy of the talented and distinguished Judah Wickower, who's single and ready to mingle. Any closing thoughts, Bubini?
There's Vivaci's. They got a pretty good looking.
Vivace once. I've had that one. Any closing thoughts, Bubini?
I may have a different shirt next week.
Actually, I think that
shall
one's
see.
better than the Fox's fornicating, frankly.
Yeah, I like this one better than the Fox's one too. but
It's
there's-
much more
there's-
zesty. Do you like my cape?
I may have a cape next week.
For Giardini or Bubini?
Well, I'm not going to bring a cape for you.
Okay, all right. That's fair.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, it's for a 5-year-old. Every Wednesday, Giardini and Bubini on the show. Thank you kindly for joining us. Remember, I'm out Friday at Folly Beach. So that means Thursday, tomorrow, is the last I Love Seville show of the week. I'm back in the saddle on Monday. For Bubini and Judah Wickower, for Giardini and yours truly, this is the I Love Seville show where we will try anything. And the only thing we ask in return is you spread the gospel. Tell folks about the program. So long, everybody, and thank you kindly for joining us. Studio camera. This right here, he's got it on a string.
Nice.
See?
So you can swing it.
And it goes around the house like this, swinging the dragon, as if it's David and Goliath. And he uses this as a weapon, and he catapults the dragon at us.
That's what I do.
That's what you would do?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It's amazing. This one personally is my favorite because of the green. It reminds me of like beach shells that you can find on the ocean, the shine.
I can see that.
Yeah. And the crystal ball was good. All right. I see in the crystal ball Bubini having questions ready to go for Giardini next time.
All right.